My son is a big fan of Strange New Worlds as well as polar bears. So he wanted me to ask you what you think of polar bears and what is your favorite animal?
Okay, wait, did you say your son is a big fan of polar bears? For real?
For real, yes.
Polar bears are my son's favorite animal. I kid you not. I kid you not. So, like, that's amazing. Do we have the same son? It's a small world. I love polar bears. I mean, I love polar bears largely because, like, to me, they're like a symbol of my son. So of course I love them. And then his question was, what do I think about polar bears?
What do you think about it? Yeah.
I think they're the best. They're the best, dude. Tell him he chose the perfect animal, the right animal to be his favorite. You know?
I will tell him and he will put it on he even has his website about polar bears, so he will put it up there.
Oh, okay. He's beating my son. Okay. Thank you. Love that.
Oh my God, slow down. I love polar bears too. Is there
More of a comment? You have more of a
something
comment?
in the show about polar bears? Because I was like lost. I remember they had a polar bear run through.
Yeah. Like the first season of Strange New World is pretty much like a rip-off of Lost. Yeah. Now you haven't seen it.
I have not seen it yet, but we're reading for the first time, and you do the best. The Strange New World, the idea of having a prequel to Pike is just amazing. And you're Captain Kirk's brother. I mean, how cool is that?
David just learned all this last night at the bar.
I did. I mean, like half of it I remember because I had a couple of Hefeweizens. But so here's my question: when you got the audition and you were going to audition, what kind of preparation did you do? Did you watch stuff? Did you were you thinking about maybe kind of which actor Kirk did you look at to kind of get the stuff? Like, what was the process of getting the part?
Okay, so yeah, I didn't tell you this part. It's a great question. Thank you.
Thank you.
When I auditioned for it, I didn't know that it was Sam Kirk because they gave the audition, all the audition sides, they gave them all like code names, you know. So I knew it was a Star Trek show, but I didn't know. I don't think I knew that it was a prequel. I didn't know, that it was about Captain Pike and everybody. I just got a breakdown saying the only thing it said about my character. So the character's name was Tom, and it said Tom has a mustache and doesn't take himself seriously. That was it. That was the whole thing.
That's so mean to the actor.
It's a little bit mean, but also sort of like, well, I got a lot of freedom here. I know Star Trek well. I never pretend to be like a Trekkie, but like I've watched tons of it over the years, specifically, Next Generation and Voyager and Deep Space Nine. And so I think I understood the tone of the show pretty well. And then because the character's name was Tom, it just came to me that like I thought of Tom Harris because, he's the other guy, the famous Tom in Star Trek, I guess. And I think without trying to be like him, I thought of him a little bit, of the kind of, on the outside, he can be sort of flippant and funny, but on the inside, there's some grit there, there's some strength there. So, but I don't know, I was mostly like, tried to style myself to look retro. I gave myself a mustache, and...
Did you put a fake mustache on?
No, I can grow a mustache.
When you were doing the audition, did you put a mustache on? Because it said mustache.
I can grow a mustache really fast.
It takes me a minute. Last question, then I'm going to get out of your hair. Other than Star Trek, what is your favorite science fiction stuff?
That's a good question. Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy. I saw that today with a very cool 42 t-shirt. That was awesome. Yeah, I would say that that's my favorite. And it blends together comedy and sci-fi and like Britishness, which is all stuff I love.
I love that that's the answer to the universe. Thank you for answering my question.
Good guy.
Speaking of the mustache, we kind of need to be talking about the elephant in the room now. Where is the mustache?
Where is it right now? Look, it looks really cool on Sam Kirk, I think. Some people today told me that they disagreed with that. I think it looks very cool within the style of the show. It's not necessarily necessarily something I want to walk around life with, you know? Like, I'll tell you this, when you have a mustache, you feel like you need to, I feel like I need to like dress for the mustache. You know, it's like, the mustache is wearing me, you know?
It's one of those things that you really need to rock and feel good in,
Yeah,
right?
yeah, yeah. And so when I have a bit of time off, like I'm not in the current episode that they're shooting, or the next one, I can't remember. But anyway, I had a bit of time off, and so I will usually just kind of, this is the way I normally look, a bit of scruff, you know? The mustache is very, it's a look, it's a strong look.
It is, definitely. Because I was feeling like, it's kind of like a superhero disguise in a way. It feels like you being Superman, taking the glasses off, and suddenly nobody.
No, you're right.
You look completely different.
And in this world too, like in the convention world where everybody is expecting me to look like that, it is a little bit.
So you're just going
incognito.
That's some fun. Yes, next question please.
Well, my first contact with you was actually via Assassin's Creed.
Nice.
So, is there any future game you will be part of, maybe?
Oh, I don't know. I did love working on Assassin's Creed. That was a very cool experience doing motion capture and voice for that. That was a long time ago now. It was like one of the first kind of big jobs that I had, I guess. I got to do San Diego Comic-Con because of that, which was awesome. I would love to do more motion capture, but Ubisoft hasn't called me back, so maybe they didn't think I did such a good job, I don't know. Yeah, I hope so. I wish I could say yes. Okay, I'll just say yes.
Fingers crossed. Thank you.
Thank you.
Hi.
Hi.
So yesterday during your panel, Nessie said that we have a goal for the end of the weekend to get you to 1,000 followers on Instagram. We're nearly there. But I took that as a reason to check your socials. And I don't know if you know that your website is broken.
Yeah.
So it's still in your Twitter bio, so maybe you should have someone look at that.
My website's not broken so much as it's abandoned. You know?
So also
This is an
there was
intervention.
April 2024, apparently, according to Archive, because the website is still available on Archive, and it's still linked on Wikipedia, and it still has links to your socials, so that might help with the whole like scammer thing that you spoke about.
Can I hire you as my digital consultant?
To work in IT, so yes, but no.
I have a bit of a tortured relationship with, social media and the internet because, I don't think I need to explain why. It's because it's social media and the internet. Yes, the website is a bit like, well, what do you need a website for, really, when all it does is just has a picture of you and Instagram handle. Anyone can find that without you paying for a website. But then the Instagram thing, just for those of you who weren't here yesterday, I guess I have to talk about it. There's a reason I only have like 900 followers. It's because I deleted my account a couple of years ago. I had a healthy account a while ago, but I deleted it. It was just a mistake. You shouldn't delete your account. You should just, if you don't want to use the app, just delete the app. But I deleted the account, and because of that, someone started impersonating me on Instagram. So it's possible that some of you follow the impersonator, Dan Jeannotte. If you want to follow me on Instagram, it's just Dan Jeannotte, Dan.Jeannotte. There's a guy who's out there calling himself officially Dan Jeannotte.
And I think he's gone.
I think he's gone. I think he's changed his name, so now he's impersonating this Dutch actor, which is really weird. But the guy was like reaching out to people, trying to get money from people who thought they were talking to me. It was really gross and bad stuff. So anyway, that's why I got back on Instagram to try to, fight this. But it's not easy. I don't know if you know how to fix this, but getting verified is not straightforward, and getting Meta to believe you when you say someone's impersonating you is not straightforward. So, anyway.
You already know how to fix it for the future, just don't delete the account. You already learned your lesson, there's nothing I can teach you. But we're nearly there,
Do
we're
you
now
know
at
how to make a
983.
time machine? Time machine? Sorry, what?
We're now at 983, by the way.
983.
But I actually do have a
If
question
you
about
go.
I appreciate you bringing attention. Yeah.
sorry, it's the hyper-focusing thing. Somebody gets mentioned and you go down a rabbit hole and then never stops.
And just so you know, we've locked the doors. You won't leave before it's at 1,000.
person before me already mentioned Assassin's Creed, so I know you did the voice acting and motion capture. Did you play the game or not?
I didn't really play the game. I've watched some friends play the game.
Do you
and
know game in general?
I'm not a gamer in general, no. Like, I had a period in my early 20s where I did play games, and I got specifically very obsessed with Grand Theft Auto, Vice City, I think, was that one? That was ridiculous. I got obsessed with it. And I remember one morning I woke up and I felt like all night I had been dreaming about Vice City, but not like myself, like not that I was in the game, you know what I mean? Not like a cool dream, like I'm living inside Grand Theft Auto. I dreamed that I was like sitting on a couch playing the game like all night long. And I woke up and I walked into the living room and I told my roommate, I was like, we're never playing the game again. And I haven't, literally haven't played it since then. But no, Assassin's Creed, I didn't, because I knew I was going to be terrible at it, I thought it would be more fun to watch somebody else play it, and I did watch someone else play it, and that was kind of weird too, because it was like, every time Arno gets like, hit, punched, or stabbed, or falls, it's like my voice, you know, like in pain. So it was it's like not necessarily a fun experience to just listen to myself breathing heavily and like running around and being scared and getting hurt, you know? A nightmare of a different kind, I suppose. I don't know. Did you play it?
I played it, yes.
Did you like it?
Yes.
I think it had a lot of bugs when it came out. I remember that.
Frustration is a part of the gaming experience.
Gamers are masochists. Thank you.
Speaking of the kind of playing yourself in a video game, are you one of these people that can't watch themselves back once they finish the project?
No. It's not that I can't watch myself. It's not always fun. But I think it's kind of necessary to be able to watch yourself a little bit in order to, know if you're good or not, to know if you're doing a good job, and to, yeah. So I will watch some of the stuff that certainly Star Trek I'll watch because it's awesome, and I only know a small part of it, so it's mostly about seeing how great it looks and how good everyone else is. But I can do it. I can do it. Yeah.
And especially if it's a recurrent role like on Star Trek, where I believe you're shot even more than we're about to see now. So I assume that it's more helpful to like go back and see what you did.
Yeah, and it's to see what you did, and also in a way to see how, because there's this expression in the film world or TV world that like a movie or a show is made 3 times. It's made once when it's written. It's made the second time when it's filmed. It's made the third time when it's edited. And so we're aware of what it looks like on the page. And then we film it, and so we know what our scenes were like to do, but we don't know what the end result is until we watch it. So knowing kind of, if your character's story is leading more in one direction or the other, it's helpful to actually watch it, because then you see, oh, okay, they're emphasizing this part of the character, or they're really playing up the funny part of Sam, or whatever it is, so you can kind of get a better sense of where they're bringing it.
Hi. So, on the last panel, you mentioned you have a background in comedy and improv, and I don't really have a very specific question about it, but I was hoping you could expand on that a bit.
Yeah, I mean, when I started performing, I was doing kind of around the same time. I started doing improv comedy, and I started doing theater. And improv is the first on-stage experience that I clearly remember. It was the first time that I improvised with a group of friends who eventually became my comedy troupe. And it was the first time I had done improv in front of an audience, and we had quite a big audience for some reason. I don't know where they came from, but and I remember saying something. I mean, in improv, you're making it up off the top of your head. It's really coming straight from you and from your interaction with your teammates. And I remember saying something, and it got a big laugh, and I felt like I just got like I got plugged in, like I was electrified, you know? It was so exciting. And then, yeah, this group of friends, we all loved it, and we started doing it more, I was gonna say doing it more seriously, doing comedy more seriously, but you know, we started doing shows outside of our school, which is where we'd started in college, and it became a real love for us. And yeah, for a while in my 20s, I was doing, you know, constantly doing improv shows in Montreal, where I'm from, and then traveling a bit throughout Canada, doing stuff. And I just think it's so. I don't do improv as much as I used to, but I love it. I love watching it. I find it's the most, when it's good, it's so fascinating to watch people, yeah, just make stuff up off the top of their heads, make up a story. They're not just rambling, you know, it's like a story. It's characters, it's emotions, and the difficulty of it is what makes it so satisfying when it works, you know? And so I still get a real charge out of doing it. And then, yeah, then my improv troupe, we started writing shows as well, so sketch comedy, which was quite different in a way, because it was, our sketch comedy was quite tightly scripted and rehearsed. It was more like doing theater, you know? But we loved that too. And those aspects of my kind of creative life have always been so important. In my like 20s, that's like what I did. Improv and sketch, that was my whole thing. And yeah, and it kind of, it stays with you. I think it's great for actors too, to be able to improvise, because it can help you keep a scene alive, you know? And we're lucky on Strange New Worlds, although obviously it's nicely scripted, a lot of the directors do kind of encourage us to ad-lib here and there. So there are some bits, not just funny bits, but like personal, more human bits that are just, they came from the actors, you know? And I think that makes it so much more like enjoyable. So, yeah.
Just one super
Yeah.
quick follow-up. Like, would you say this is something that you really have to work hard and that you have to focus on? And to what extent do you still feel, if you're doing improv comedy, there's an element of play, and to what extent is this needed to make it?
So can you say that last bit? To what extent is it about play?
To what extent is it about play, and perhaps even is it necessary to have like the feeling of still play that's going on?
Like to have that feeling on set, you mean, or have it in an improv show?
In an improv show.
Yeah, I mean, it's all about that. It's all about play. It's all about enjoying yourself and hopefully connecting with the people you're playing with. And it's just like the beautiful thing about doing improv and doing theater is that you're connecting directly with the audience, which is a thing we don't get in TV. This is our connection. It's like being able to come to cons and stuff and talk to fans, but when we're working on it, we don't have that connection. When you're on stage doing theater or improv, you know exactly what the audience is feeling because they're right there. You can feel if they're locked in, you can feel if they're leaving the room. It's brutally honest, you know?
I'm sure they just had to go to the toilet.
But yeah, improv is really all about being in the moment and hopefully enjoying being in the moment.
Thank you.
Thanks a lot.
I had a little bit of private question. I had a daughter, and you as a TV person and a dad, it's a very high discussed dilemma, kids and TV time. How do you see this as a TV actor? How did you see this as a dad?
You mean like deciding how much screen time my kid should have?
Yeah. Also, I have a little daughter, and now it's complicated.
Yeah, it certainly is. Well, I guess to put it simply, like my attitude towards screen time for my son, I don't think is affected by the fact that I work in TV. I don't say like, well, hey, I make TV, so go ahead and watch as much TV as you want. No. Yeah, it is definitely a complicated thing to figure out, and I think the important thing is to say there's no one right way to do it. Every family has to do what's right for their family, for their kids. Some people, television or getting on screens or video games becomes necessary because the parents don't have support, you know? And so I never judge anybody for what they do with their kids. My kid doesn't have too much screen time. He is obsessed with video games, even though he doesn't play very many video games for years now. Before he had ever played any, he was just like, he had seen other people playing video games and was wild about the idea. And so I could see with him, with his hyper-focus, with the way his brain works, that it could become something that he spends all of his time doing if we let him. So we don't let him. No, I mean, eventually he'll get to make those decisions for himself. But for now, I try to give him the time to enjoy this thing he enjoys without it becoming all-encompassing, you know? And I try to also vary, he wants to play video games, he wants to watch YouTube. I think some kinds of screen time are better than others, you know what I mean? Playing Minecraft, for example, which he loves, I think is probably in a lot of ways better than watching YouTube because you're just passive when you're taking stuff in like that, you know? Minecraft, you're creating stuff. So we try to balance what he does. Unless, of course, he wants to watch Strange New Worlds, which is yeah, let's do it. Just binge it for 12 hours straight. You know? He's watched a little bit of this show, but not so much yet because he's a very sensitive boy, and what he takes in really stays with him. I showed him the first episode of Next Generation. That's the one where Q is judging everybody, yeah? And he was like, this show is scary, Daddy. Yeah, I guess putting humanity on trial is pretty intense. So, I'm slowly working into the yeah. That's a good question, though.
Thank you.
Thanks. What's up, Robbie?
So, if you would not have been an actor, what would have been your TV profession?
Ooh, yeah, good question. When I was a kid, I thought I wanted to be a writer when I was young. That was kind of the first thing. I mean, once I got past the idea of being an astronaut or whatever, I thought I wanted to be a writer. And there's still part of me that, has that aspiration. So that's an idea. But that's still kind of, I guess, still connected to the world. I sometimes dream about being a baker. I think that would be really nice, except for the waking up very early part. But why aren't there ever any late night bakeries? You know what I mean? Like a bakery where the baker can just wake up at whatever, 9 in the morning and then open the store at noon and then serve until 8 at night and then go to bed. I don't know. Maybe I should.
That kind of sounds like a romantic comedy. The Night
The Night Baker, yeah, that's good. That's good. Yeah, something like that. Thanks.
Hi.
Hey.
When your casting was announced, I was asking myself, where do I know this guy from? And then I looked you up, and you are the pinstripe guy.
Yeah.
And it's from a show, The Bow Type. And how was your experience to be part of a very female-centric series? Because all the leads are female. Behind the scenes, there were many women involved.
Yes, I love that. This is a great question.
And you were the person.
That's
from
good.
a,
Yeah, that's a good vocalization to describe it.
Sorry.
Yes, no, I was kind of the whatever. I was kind of the alpha sort of player asshole in that show.
Yeah.
Or at first, it seemed that way. So that show, The Bold Type, was such a delight to work on. I loved that. It was one of my favorite shows to work on. It was my favorite show to work on, I think, until Strange New Worlds. And you're right, it was a female focus. It was all about female friendship. The 4 main characters were all all women, and actually, like, I think interestingly, it was not the first show I had worked on. It was like a very female-focused, female-forward show. Before the Bold Type, I did Reign, which was about basically Mary Queen of Scots and Queen Elizabeth and Catherine de Medici, like three powerful women trying to navigate like a male-dominated world. And the show I did before that was called The Good Witch, which was a Hallmark show that was also very female-focused. So actually, by the time I got to the Bold Type, it was like, I don't know if this is just a coincidence that I'm ending up in these shows, but I love it. I love it because I want to. I mean, there are so many kinds of stories that can be told, but for such a long time on TV, the stories were all focused around men. And so just to be a part of something that's, shining a light on women's friendships, women's like these power struggles, or women in power and their specific challenges, just like stories from the female perspective, I was so happy to be part of that. Also, behind the scene, in terms of directors and writers, so much of television and film is male-dominated. And so I've actually gotten to work with so many female directors, probably as many female directors as male directors at this point. And that's unusual. I mean, it's not unusual for me, but in the world of TV, that is quite different. So, yeah, maybe weirdly enough, Strange New Worlds is like the most male show I've been on, and it's also a very nicely distributed cast and everything. But yeah, Bold Type though, so much fun to work on. That shot in Montreal, where I'm from, but I had been living in Toronto, so I got to go back to Montreal to film that. A fantastic crew, amazing actors in the show that I'm still good friends with, and it was cool to be that kind of character who at first you think, oh, this guy's kind of a jerk, but then, no, he turns out to be like, well, a human being, a lot more complicated, And I think, yeah, I had a great time. I loved my storyline, except at the end. They did me dirty. I turned out to be an asshole.
If you say so. Thank you.
Thank you, appreciate it.
Hello.
Hi.
Hi. I was wondering how much Dan is in Sam and how much Sam is in Dan.
Oh, that's cool. 70-30? No. I think one of the things that I've been realizing about acting, TV acting, more than theater acting, more than maybe film acting, it's very much about bringing yourself into the character. I used to be, when I was younger, trying to put something on. I would read a script and I would think, oh, this guy is this kind of guy, so I'm going to talk like this. Or, I was making a judgment about the character and then trying to, I guess, I don't know, almost make a caricature in a way of that kind of person. And I'm realizing when I've been successful, if I've been successful in scenes or in characters, it's because I'm finding the middle ground between myself and them, if that makes any sense. So Sam, I think, is quite like me in a lot of ways, other than the fact that he has a stable job, yeah, I think I bring, maybe I brought a little bit of my, I don't know, goofiness or silliness to Sam. I mean, he was always, from the beginning, he was a bit of a funny character, but I think once they saw my energy, they could kind of start writing him to be a little bit more reflective of the actor in a way. Well, I'd say about Sam, what I really appreciate, maybe this is less what shows up on screen and more the way I think about it, but I definitely think about Sam as being a family man. He hasn't, I don't think in the first couple seasons, he hasn't really talked about his family yet, but knowing what we know about him in the future, in my mind, he, will do anything to protect his family, including sacrifice himself. And I see that like extending to his crew as well, his crewmates. He will do whatever he has to do to protect the people that he loves. And that's really, inspirational. I'd like to be there. So, yeah, thanks.
Thank you.
Hi there.
Hiya.
Thank you for coming to FedCon, and I hope you enjoy your time here.
Thank you, I have.
Since I know you did Hallmark movies and TV, what is the difference about filming Hallmark to Star Trek?
Less aliens in Hallmark movies. Well, the schedule for filming a Hallmark movie or any kind of TV movie is quite intense. Make a whole movie in about 13 days of filming. So with some weekends there, but like basically 3 weeks, about 13 days of filming in those 3 weeks. And so everything moves pretty quickly. And that's one of the ways they are able to make so many of these movies is that they keep their costs down by making the shoots happen really fast. And so a big difference is that on a Hallmark movie, you're really, if you're one of the main characters in it, you're like working all the time, all day, there's not a lot of downtime. On a show like Star Trek, which has so much production value, there's so much thought put into how everything looks, and there's huge teams full of amazing, like, the art departments and the cinematography, the camera crew, everybody is doing such an incredible job. But all that stuff takes a lot of time to set up, and so it's just a bit slower. It's slower to shoot, but you can kind of see why, because it looks amazing. Also, our Hallmark movie looks, there it is. It's there.
Do you enjoy one of them more?
I don't really enjoy one of them more. Like I would say, I feel very lucky to do both. I do like the fast pace of a Hallmark movie, but I wouldn't want to be doing it all the time. If I'm going to choose one, I'm going to choose this, But I think they both have their pros and cons, I suppose. They're both
travel.
Say again?
Travel on the Danube.
Oh yeah. Well, that's it. Sometimes in Hallmark movies they get to travel to beautiful places. For Strange New Worlds, they travel to Toronto, to a studio.
Also beautiful.
Also beautiful in its own way, but it's not the Danube, It's not Ireland or Paris. I do love doing them both, and I feel lucky that I get a variety in my working life.
Thank you.
Thanks.
It's kind of like coming here for a convention. No matter how beautiful the city, we're kind of in here the whole time.
Well, I got to go into town today. I went into Bond. Yeah.
Okay.
Got on a scooter, and it's nice. Like it's so cool to be able to travel with work. And then if you're gonna be if I'm gonna get flown out to Germany, I should see some of Germany, not just the inside of a. This is a cool conference hall, or whatever this is, but see a bit of the world, right? Yeah.
So the next time you're back, we're gonna hire you as our tour guide for Bonn.
Yes, absolutely. I will show you how to take a scooter along the train tracks up to the Centrum and where the Haribo store is.
Well, I think that is actually one hot spot of Bonn.
Yeah.
Are you more of a sweet guy or more of a salty guy?
I like baked goods. I like baking things. So I like cookies and brownies and muffins and stuff like that.
I think Germany is kind of known for their bakeries in a way.
Yeah.
No?
I don't know. You tell me.
I think so, right? Because everywhere else I go, people are always like, oh, your bread is so much better because we have a big variety, kind of.
Okay. I didn't go to a bakery today. I should do that tomorrow.
You have been playing, I think, Austrian royalty in one of the movies, though? Did you get to experience any of
Yeah, that's right. Yes.
Austria? Or
I don't know if it was Austrian. In a lot of these Hallmark movies, they like make up countries. You know, like I'm the girl of like Mandolino or something. You know, like,
Genovia.
oh yeah, that might be. That
Oh, they're
sounds
doing a
familiar.
movie, no?
Genovia?
Yes.
What is that?
Isn't there like a princess? What's it called? The Princess Diaries is the English term, yeah.
So yes, I've been the prince of the Earl of various made-up European countries. Always speaking with a British accent.
Did you get to keep all the crowns?
No, my guys were never like crown wearers. They were more like they were the kind of princes who pretend not to be princes. You know, classic. So no, I don't think I ever got to wear a crown actually.
So no picking up of any German language on the way either.
I mean, no, I can only say like, you know, no, what I try to do when I go to a country where I don't speak the language is I try to learn how to say I don't speak the language. So I can say, I'm going to say, Entschuldigung, spreche keine Deutsch. And then at least the people, I think it's just sort of respectful to try when you're in another country. And I'm sure you all know that North Americans, I won't specify which country in North America, but North Americans that travel the world sometimes just assume that everyone should speak their language, goddamn. So I think it's just like nice to try and say. And so I understand that I should learn your language, but I'm only here for a couple of days, so Bita, don't be angry at me.
And then they just proceed in German at you.
Yeah. But I've learned to do that in other languages too. Like I learned how to say it in Hungarian, though I can't remember it anymore. You know, because it's the least you can do. Yeah.
Yes, please.
Hi. I wanted to ask if you're an officer in Starfleet, like what kind of officer were you? Like a technical officer or a scientist?
I'm a science officer. Yeah.
All the way.
Oh, if I was in real life, you mean?
Yes.
Oh, okay. I was like, dude, did you watch the show? If I was, I really like the idea of like communications, like what Uhura does. I mean, she probably has a more broader title than that, but basically like having to communicate with other ships, other races, you know, other species. I think that that's really pretty fascinating. You know, maybe that makes sense as like an actor into communicating and the challenges of communicating. But yeah, I could be the guy being like, Captain, they're hailing us. You know?
Ich spreche kein Deutsch.
What would you like to be?
I like to be like more engineer.
Yeah.
This type of thing.
Nice.
I fix it in 5 minutes.
Great, okay. Good, thanks for the question.
Thank you.
Yeah. Was ist das?
Oh, there's still a few missing. Everybody get your phones out right
Great. Oh, that's really nice. So, yeah, that's the real me. 10 posts, 995 followers.
And I really love the bio also.
Yeah. Oh yeah, click on more. Can you click on more? No, under the bio. You know where it says my little bio?
1001.
What do you mean?
Click on that.
That's
We
cool.
broke the internet. We might come back to it later.
Check your phone, you made it, is what you're saying.
Thank you all for following me.
Take that man.
So, Star Trek question.
Yeah.
Sorry. We already know how all of the characters from Strange Worlds are going to end up.
That's so funny. Wait a second. Leave that up for a second. I just want to do something. Take a picture of myself with this in the background.
Please, we need it back.
Danke. Thank you. Thank you guys. So you're were saying, we know how most of the characters end up. We
Yes.
don't know how they all end up, I don't think, do we?
Vast majority.
Yes, sure.
And so, is there anything that you would like your character to like experience, get done before his inevitable demise?
Yeah.
Because we know how he dies and his wife and son, like all
Yes.
of that, how it plays out. But what, for sound specific, what should he achieve or get to experience?
Well, I think because he's got everybody knows this, right? He in TOS he dies, but it's not even like he dies. He's just already dead, you know. And it's not a very, I don't know. It's kind of a cheap death. You don't really know what happened, and I guess I would like to. I'd like to see. I was saying before, I feel like he's a character who would do anything to protect his family, even though he seems maybe a little bit sort of, I don't know what, goofy or silly sometimes. Like he's committed to his work and to his family. And so I would like to see him being, being a hero. Like, so it's not just something that I can tell myself. He would do anything to save his family. I want to see him doing anything to save his family. You know, I want to see him like putting himself in danger to help his brother, his crew, his family. You know, because it's nice to have a character who is sort of more light. He's fun, I suppose, and he's got good banter with his brother and with some other characters. But I guess I want to see him being like a kick-ass Starfleet officer at least once. And yeah, it'd be nice to see him with his family too, so they're not just off screen or whatever. So yeah, those are the things that I hope for. I guess I want to be a bit of an action hero, and and I want to see him being like a dad too.
Thank you.
Thanks.
And I mean, you've already done motion capture, so why not throw some
I
fights?
can do it. Put me in there. Well, you guys will see the third season's coming out in about, I don't know, a month and a half or something like that. And
17th of July.
Yeah. And so the second season ended with a cliffhanger, right? And so the third season starts really kind of like, starts off hard and fast. It starts intensely, and I am a part of that intensity. So. I'm really excited to see how that episode turned out, because it was a tough one to shoot. We worked on it for a while, and I think it's going to look awesome. And it's fun.
What are the most tough shooting experiences? Is there something you feel like is more draining than other stuff?
Well, sometimes we have to, so most of our shooting happens in the studio, and studio shooting, like most actors and crew will tell you, studio shooting is easier than location shooting in a lot of ways, because everything is set up and where all of your things are. When you shoot on location, meaning when you go out into the world and you shoot on a street or you shoot in a building, it gets all more complicated, because you need a place to put everything, and where, you've got to park your trailers over there, and you don't have enough electricity to run all the lights, so you need to, anyway, there's all kinds of things. Shooting in a studio can be pretty cushy, it's pretty comfortable in a lot of ways. But then we also shoot at something called the AR wall, which I'm sure you've heard people talk about, which is this amazing separate studio that's got this screen that goes 270 degrees or something. And it's not projection, it's actually a screen, but all of the alien planets that we're on, for the most part, we're actually shooting on this AR wall, where there's a set that's built on the ground, where the walls are all screens. And it's incredible. It looks so good. It looks so good in person. It really transports you, to a strange new world. And it also looks really good on camera. But because there's 1 million screens, and computers running everywhere, it gets very hot in there. It's really, really hot inside the AR wall. And if we're shooting on an alien planet, it might mean that we have our exosuits on. And so we have these heavy suits. Look, I should just preface by saying, I'm an actor, I have a very easy job. Nothing is hard about it. I'm not complaining, but the days that are tough are the days where we have to wear like these super heavy suits in this really hot place, and generally we're being like physical, we're like running around, or like whatever it is, So some of those days have been kind of draining, just because physically it's hot. I mean, this weekend's been really hot.
I was about to say, I think some of them can relate.
Yeah, so it's just like exactly what we've all been going through, only you're wearing like a 30-pound suit on your back or whatever. Those days have been kind of harder physically, but our hours are pretty reasonable on a TV show. Sometimes on movies, hours can go kind of crazy, but on our show, it's pretty regimented, so they treat us pretty well. Yeah.
That's nice. Yes, please.
Hi, I was just wondering, a private question, have you been into some kind of sport as a kid, or what did you do, or still into something, or ever done some martial arts?
No, I've never done martial arts, no. But as a kid, I played hockey for a long time.
Ice hockey?
Yeah, growing up in Montreal, that's pretty common. And I played it from the time I was, super young, 4 or whatever, until I was about 16, I guess, and then, and I played other things that I didn't care about as much, soccer, football, and baseball a little bit, but hockey was the one I enjoyed the most. And these days, I don't really play any sports. I work out, sometimes I go to a rock climbing gym, because I find that a lot of fun. I should play a sport, right? Sports are good for
But
you.
judo is good. Do some judo.
What is it?
Do some judo.
Some scooter?
No, judo.
Judo.
Yeah,
Judo.
it's pretty good.
Yeah. My son does jiu-jitsu, so I've practiced with him a little bit.
Yeah, you can ask Babs on
Yeah.
the book about it. He's a researcher.
Yeah, exactly.
Do you like more bouldering, or do you like top rope climbing?
Bouldering, yeah, that's what it's easier, it's easier to just do it quickly, Sometimes I go with my son and we just drop in for an hour and climb some rocks, fall down on some mats, it's fun, physical stuff, I bike a lot, I bike in the city, Yeah,
thank you.
Thanks.
You've mentioned earlier that you loved to be a writer when you were younger. You've actually written a play, I think.
Yeah, yes.
Do you want to talk about that a little bit?
Sure. Yeah, I was saying before that I used to do improv and sketch comedy, and I was really heavily involved in a theater festival in Montreal called the Fringe Festival. It's like the Edinburgh Fringe, but a lot smaller. There's a lot of fringe festivals in Canada, and my troupe, we used to tour and do scripted shows and improv shows, and I hadn't done one of these festivals in a really long time, but recently I thought it might be fun to get back into it. So I took a script that I had written a long time ago, and I revamped it, I made it better, I punched it up, as they say, made it funnier, I hope, and I am producing this play at the Montreal Fringe, which the play opens in less than a week now. It was on the 4th or the 5th of June. Kind of a weird time for me to go to Germany. But that's okay, I'm not in the play. I am just producing it. And they're rehearsing it, it's gonna be fine. But it's exciting to be back in the world of independent theater, and always fun to create something by yourself and then see it made real, have people speaking these words that you just dreamed up one day.
And more creative control about where the story is going, basically. Right?
Yeah, because of course as actors we just we don't have any control at all. And so it's nice to be a little bit more in control. I'm excited for that to happen. If anybody gonna be in Montreal next week? Anybody?
There's still time to book your flights.
If you book your flight to Montreal for next week, I'll give you a free ticket to see the show, okay?
Yes, we have time for one last question, please.
Last question.
about theater, what do you like more? Getting the instant reaction of an audience at the theater, or being in something like Star Trek that you will be remembered for the next 700 years?
I feel like you really loaded that question. It's going to be pretty silly if I say, I just want one person to laugh. I mean, of course, the fact that I'm involved in this particular show is really incredible, and it's unlike most TV work that you do because it has such a built-in fandom, it has such a history, it's so iconic. I still can't, I'm saying these words and I still can't believe that I'm a part of it. Like, it's wild. Like, I don't understand. Try and take a moment to be grateful. I'm like, sure, take this in, this is crazy. Yeah, obviously that's kind of unbeatable, you know? And so I wouldn't trade it, but I'm glad I get to do both, you know? And unfortunately, when you work in TV, you don't get people's reactions unless you get to come to conventions, you know? You could listen to people online, but listening to people online is a dicey business, you know? So you pour yourself into a show, but then you kind of put it out into the void, put it out into the world, and you just hope that people like it. Versus doing a play or a piece of improv, and you know right away if it was successful or not, you know? And that's gratifying. That feels like you're making a connection. And really, that's what we're trying to do with stories. We're trying to connect with people. We're not just doing it because it's fun to put on a mustache and walk through the halls of the Enterprise. We're doing it because we want it to mean something to people. We want people to be affected by it the way we were affected by watching Star Trek or anything, any story that touched us. We know how valuable that is and how magical that is to be touched, to be changed by a story. And that's all we're hoping to do is to connect with people. So I'm really, really glad that I get to connect with you all now, with you asking me this question right now. And just, I feel, I guess since we have to end anyway, I just want to end by saying I'm just so grateful that I actually get to meet the people who are touched by the work that we're doing. And I appreciate that you like it as much as we hope we do. Yeah. Thanks.
Thank you so much.